What is the coolest name you have ever heard? Went to school with a kid whose last name meant dark in another language. Him and his sister were named Wolf and Dove respectively in that language. So Dark Wolf and Dark Dove. Blah blah blah. Max Power. There's an IndyCar driver named Stingray Robb. Somehow it's both the dumbest and coolest name I know. Rip Torn. Coco Crisp. Baseball player who played like 14 years in the majors. I once saw the name Storm Warrior written on a whiteboard, list of clients and notes and stuff. According to the person who owned the whiteboard, a couple got married and had the last name Storm and Warrior, so they decided to combine them. Still don't know if that was legit, but there didn't seem to be a reason for them to make up a name. Lol. Coolio. I worked with a guy named Kilrain. Pronounced Kilrain. If that's the coolest, but it was memorable. Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo. Come on, nothing is cooler than McLovin. Shark Park. Legitimate name of a kid that went to summer camp every year. Everyone knew him. Ernest Hemingway always stuck out to me. Sleeve McDickiel. Hugh Jaws Soul. Once knew a guy named Rick Danger. Not Richard and no middle name. Trent Reznor. Maximus. Cleopatra. Miroslav Satan. Finn Wolfhard. Magnus Ver Magnuson. World's strongest man athlete. Max Fightmister. This is a real person's name. Smitty Verbin Jagermanjensen. Speedweed. Writer and producer on Law and Order SVU. Hingo McCringleberry. Big Goss Dickus. Keanu Reeves. You cannot tell me that's not a badass sounding name. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. Know a guy named Rusty Broadbent and it's just such a good name. Street Lamp Moose. Kirk Lazarus. Crap Bag. Ferktergot Hasden Tufel. Tits McGee. Bodie McBoatface. Ice Cube. There's an Olympic diver named Steele Johnson. My friends has a girl and boy and their names are Thor and Freya. Harbinger. Very metal. Had a camp counselor by the name of Derek Erickson. Little ass kicker smiling face with sunglasses. The surname of one of my old classmates, Schlichting. He pronounced it as Schlichting. But I don't know if there are any other alternative pronunciations, since I'm not sure of the origin. If I had to take a guess, I'd say German. I just really like how well the CK and ing sounds all flow together so well. That dude was easily the coolest person I have ever met. But if you're only asking for first names, Malachai. It wasn't the guy's real name, he just looked very similar to the Children of the Corn character, so everyone calls him Malachai. He is not at all cool and isn't deserving of such a cool name, unfortunately. Lumaui Bond. James Bond. Gideon Spector. There was a former Swedish Minister of Justice named Gun Hellsvik, pronounced Hellsweek. Not the coolest name in Swedish, but in English on the other hand. The Mongooses. That's a good name. The Fighting Mongooses. Current IndyCar driver Stingray Robb. Or current NASCAR Truck Series driver Lawless Allen. Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Some guy on The Voice was named Wolf Winters. I thought that was a pretty badass name. The best name ever has to go to the racing driver Dick Trickle. Wilma Digford. Roy Steele. Pandolfo Malatesta. An Italian lord. I first heard it while watching Asterisk A Knight's Tale Asterisk and thought they'd made it up. Turns out there were like 5 generations who passed it down. Lilith Clawthorne. In high school, 10 years ago, my daughter had a friend named Jagger. Marcus Aurelius radiates big dick energy, but advocates for moderate dick energy. I went to school with a guy named Tico Lakamba. If that is how his surname was spelled, but that is how it sounded. My brain always liked the way it sounded. Street Lamp Moose. Hot Black Asiato. Boss of mine named his daughter Francesca Danger. Last name goes by Frankie Danger. She's got the spunk to back the name up and it's awesome. Jimmy Ricard. Mike Hawk. Gardenia Buendia. Normal Stitz. I went to college with Stone Garden Grind Life. I heard of a kid named Zeus. Baseball player Rusty Kuntz. Juno Temple.